fits over that just fine.
We really are the best.
So I've got the splitter on the ground right in front of the car. This splitter is made of complete carbon fiber, hand built in California. It's a company called Meyer. They do a lot of race components they do a lot of Mustang stuff, a lot of cool stuff. Hand built one at a time, well, maybe not one at a time, but hand built. It takes 4 days to make one. It's nothing like, you know, thrown together piece of crap. This is thick carbon fiber. I've got something planned for this because, you know, I can't keep anything stock. I can't keep anything what the designer intended it to be. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to do a little I1 Tesla style on it. But I'm going to put this up on jack stands so I get this up high enough so I can show you how to install it. It comes with bolts and it comes with some 3M tape. The 3M tape is just really designed for the sides, but I'm going to put it along the front of this as well. Well, I'll show you all that stuff. I'm excited to put this on because this is going to match carbon fiber mirror caps and my carbon fiber spoiler that I put some vinyl on. And that kind of gets you a little hint of what I'm going to do to this. Let me just throw it on there so you see what it looks like. It looks really, well, these lights in here suck. Let me find some other lights. You can see this really takes and it really breaks up this section here. The carbon fiber wraps over that front lip that's there. It doesn't sit much lower than what the car actually is. You see this wraps right around and comes over to the side. The double-sided tape is going to fit over there. And then I'm actually going to put some double-sided tape underneath this section, really to protect this from bouncing up and down and causing any damage to the wrap, but also to help secure it down. It does come with these bolts here to bolt from underneath. Right where those pop rivets are, those plastic rivets, we're going to pull those out, drill a hole in the bottom of this to fit this through and bolt this down into place. Looks like it sticks way out from this angle, but when you get right above it, it doesn't stick out very much at all. Sticks out maybe 2 inches in front of the front bumper. But what this does is gives you a little bit more downforce on the track. I think Sasha from Mountain Pass Performance used this on the car that they teamed up with Teslarati and built a race car and go around the track and beat the record for an EV. This one did it because they were able to create more downforce on the front. They were able to get in the turns a little harder, get more traction, less sliding, and get around the track 1 second faster. So that's actually pretty cool. This is the way it looks now. Looks really good. We're going to change it up a little bit. And that's what's great about your own car. You can change it up however you want to. You don't have to just buy a product and put it out there the exact way it comes out. You can change it up a little bit and personalize it because you bought the products or you got the products to personalize the car anyway. So why not go one step farther and make it even more? All right, so here is the front splitter. I've taken it off the car. Once I put it on the car, I found the center because there's a vent in between that section right down there, and it's easy to find center. Because I'm not sure how I'm going to do any graphics here. I might put a Tesla logo here or on this front lip, but I'm going to wrap the top part in vinyl to match what's there. So it kind of looks like it would be flowing right off of the factory lines there and onto the front splitter, which would be carbon fiber sticking out here. I think that'll look kind of cool. So I'm going to run a line probably right where my nail is all along here. Hand-laid carbon fiber. There are some imperfections in the carbon fiber. You can see some air bubbles that I'm actually going to be covering up with the vinyl, so it's not a huge deal. Plus this is going to be so low to the ground, there's a possibility it could get damaged. Here's the bottom half. It's totally flat, which is really nice. But these are the tabs that you're going to be drilling a 1/4 inch hole into where those little pull tabs go that hold down the shield underneath. And you can see that it's going to bring it down this low, about 1.25 inches. The factory bumper kind of sticks up a little bit, probably because it knows it's the best car.
We really are the best.
That's going to tick some people off, but I don't care. So I'm going to wipe this down. I just have it sitting up on some chairs right now. I'm going to flip this up, put some of that knifeless tape down here, all along the side here. I'm going to take my time at this because this needs to be a nice straight line. Lay the piece of vinyl up on top, cut it out, obviously. Put the double-sided tape on the corners like it's supposed to be. Look at inside the reinforcement of the carbon fiber. Pretty cool stuff. That's to protect this front lip. This is actually number 15 that they've built. I'm excited to get it on the car, but first I got to customize it because I don't want to do that on the ground. Once I put the vinyl on there, I'll put it up on the jack stands and I'll show you underneath the car. I'll walk you through the process. And stay tuned because if you want to buy this, I have a discount coupon for you. Now that I've got the knifeless tape laid out there, what I did was I set up some lights and I just laid on the ground to see if it looked level, looked even all the way across, and it looks really good. So above the red line is going to be this vinyl wrap that I used, and then below will be the carbon fiber. Actually, that red accent line looks pretty good. All right, so it's not done yet. I just put it up on the jack stands. As you see, there's a clamp, there's a little clip right there. When this is pushed all the way back, we'll be able to take that clip out. So we want to actually remove this by undoing these bolts here and then all these other ones. So we can drop this down and get our hands in there to bolt this down. All right, so what I've done here is I've taken some vinyl. It's just a scrap piece of vinyl from doing this part. I centered the splitter and then I taped this down just to hold it in place. So now we're gonna go underneath, mark where we need to put the holes while everything's together here. We're here to mark these. I'm going to take a marker. I've got a Sharpie, a gray Sharpie. This is black, so hopefully we see this. But I'm going to pull back and mark where this is going to be tight on each one of these before we take anything off. Once I take this down, I can drill the 1/4 inch hole that is necessary in the right spot, and then pull this down, stick my hand in between, tighten everything up, and we'll be good to go. Well, we got to put the tape on the side. But you can see how smooth this is. This is really nice. This has a lifting factor. This is higher than back here. So this is basically, it's forcing air underneath this and lifting the front end of the car. Well, what this is going to do, this is dropping at the 1.5 inches where it's flush with this. So this is going to cut through the air and it's going to be less air underneath the car, which is always good if you want to go fast, have less air on the ground. It creates less of a lift factor. Once I lower the car, that's even going to be even less air and it's going to be even more stable on the track. That's the whole idea behind a front splitter. It splits the air and gives more downforce. The front lip itself is going to create more of a downforce by forcing the air up, in turn giving more grip. It's always good to get a grip on life or the track. Now that all the holes are marked, I could drill those and take that plastic piece off that I showed you. That wasn't so hard. You can see the X's. That's where I'm going to drill the holes. I'm going to start with a pilot hole, a smaller bit that is going to be easier to center. And then once I use the bigger 1/4 inch bit that just fell on the floor, that won't dance around as much. So after careful consideration, really looking at this project, I think I'm going to take the front bumper off to really put this on properly. If you had a whole lift and you took this to a shop that had a lift that was up in the air, you could probably reach your hand back in there with a wrench and tighten these things down. But being on the floor, I think the best way is to pull this bumper off. Again, if you take it somewhere, they'll be able to do it with the lift. Actually, my neighbor has a lift. I should probably, I'm already halfway into this. so I'm going to pull the front bumper off, which means I have to take the front bucket out, or the frunk out, and just release some clips, and it pops right off. It's really easy to do. Ta-da! All finished. Just kidding. So I've taken the bumper off. Bolts through the top here. There's 2 major clips that are right in here. Take your time getting those off, because those are really what's holding the thing on. There's 1 bolt here that you need to remove. The 2 others can stay in there, like this piece here. There's 2 bolts here that stay in place. You just remove the closest one to the wheel. That's this hole. There's only 1 wiring harness that goes to everything, and the bumper's free. Now with the bumper on its face, you can kind of see what we're up against here. You have these holes that the bolts are going to go through. On a lift, you'd be able to reach 1 hand in here, hold a wrench here, and then crank it from the other side. You'd have to be completely underneath the car to do that this way. So I've come to the conclusion this needs to be on, because you have to put these two on both sides, and then bolt this down through. Now some people might be able to get this up and underneath there, but I'm not going to, because I may run into some issues later where I need to take this off. Maybe say I want to rewrap it or something, and I want to get this off easy without taking this whole thing apart. Now it comes time to put the double-sided tape where I want it, and then mount this thing home. With all this tape, it's not coming off, especially with it being bolted down. I'm going to do a drive test after this at 70 miles an hour or 75 miles an hour on the highway, just to see if there's any loss of or any gain. You have to use more electricity to go the same distance. We're going to see how well it holds up. All right, now we're going to make sure all these pigtails are out, and we're going to set this in place where we want it. Starting from the sides here, making sure they're even. This. And then this, we can just squeeze over. We're going to flip this upside down so it's on the top. And now we can run those bolts through. Now everything is secure. Now we can reach to put these through to the other side. What I'm doing, I'm putting the nut inside, and I'm running a bolt through the outside, finding the bolt first with the washer, and then following it up with the nut. Just hand tightening them right now. This is going a lot better than trying to do this from underneath the car. Again, if you have a floor lift, a whole lift, this would be a lot easier to do on the car. You wouldn't have to take the bumper off. I don't have that, and I'm assuming most of you don't. Now, if you really wanted to go underneath this, you probably could. There's probably enough room here to go underneath, and it's probably what it's designed to do. I'm gonna snug it up and hope it doesn't crack. You just don't want to go too far. If you go too hard, it will crack. Might be nice to put a big fender washer here. That way you have more force here. So now it's just a matter of putting this back on the car, buttoning everything up, and taking it for a drive. I should have just taken the bumper off to begin with. That's all right. I did the work, so you guys don't have to do the extra work. So I finished it, looks really good. Took it for a drive, no issues. Pretty much the same watt hours per mile. There's no vibration, no noises, anything like that. I tried to go the exact same speed, and it seems to be just fine. I think it looks good. I offset the Tesla logo off to the side here instead of, doesn't always have to be centered. As always, stay awesome, stay positive, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.